Bringing hope to Kenya. That's the goal of a new documentary created by a former KY3 staffer.
KY3's Jay Schroeder joins us now with details on how the film shines a spotlight on post-election violence and the fallout. Jay.
The documentary is titled Kenya Until Hope is Found, and the person behind it is a former KY3 photographer who is currently the filmmaker in residence at Drury University. He says the film isn't meant to be political or have an agenda other than helping an embattled country find some peace. And a warning for our viewers, some of the footage shown may not be suitable for children.
Presidential elections, Kenya 2007, disputed after the polls closed.
The political protests very quickly turned into political violence and began to manifest along tribal lines, so it became ethnic violence.
The country was soon in turmoil, on the brink of genocide.
Over 1,200 people dead and 500,000 people displaced from their homes.
World leaders came together to broker a power-sharing agreement in the country.
This is not just about the Kenyan story or the African story, it's actually about the human story.
While the agreement diffused the situation, it did not erase the damage already done.
If we are saying we want peace in Kenya, then we also have to say that we need to heal from trauma, because they're both interconnected. We can't have one without the other.
Drury University filmmaker in residence and Kenyan Patrick Mureithi is not only trying to undo the trauma from 2007.
This trauma that has continued to go unaddressed, there's a great danger of even greater violence occurring.
But prevent more trauma when Kenyans go to the polls in March to elect a new president.
Mimi ni affect juu sister yangu during post violence alipotanga na tujaimwona.
Mpaka saa hii huwa nikisikia tu kitu kama mgurumo au pilimbi au nini huwa ninastukanga.
In Kenya, you have 79 qualified psychiatrists in a country of close to 40 million people. That's one psychiatrist for every 500,000 people.
Patrick is bringing his message of peace to the people, traveling to slums in Kenya, teaching them techniques on how to deal with stress, anxiety, and grief.
And in my documentary, I share a technique called faster EFT. And the EFT stands for emotionally focused transformations.
A technique Patrick admits he wasn't so sure about at first.
This is ridiculous. It's like some new age nonsense, right? But I tried it because I was in such pain.
But Patrick was seeing results, both with himself and with the people that had been through so much.
But there's no shame if we are broken or wounded. Absolutely none. The real shame is when we don't do something about it, because we deny ourselves peace of mind.
Patrick hopes his documentary will have a lasting effect, not just for the people of Kenya, but for anyone dealing with trauma.
Hopefully in the future, we can rejoice, not because we ended a conflict, but because we prevented one.
Patrick is in Kenya as we speak. He's gathering more film for the documentary. He's also doing a media tour of sorts to promote his documentary before the next presidential election, which again is in March.
And he's got kind of an unusual distribution deal here.
Yeah, it certainly isn't a way Americans would embrace for the most part. He's going to bootleggers, people that pirate movies. He brought them the master film and said, you make as many copies of this as you want. I want you to spread this around, sell it for pennies. I don't care about the money. I want this to happen. And that's exactly what he did, and it's worked, and it's really distributed the movie on a much wider scale than a traditional method certainly would have.
Good for him. Thank you, Jay.